I'm Tatyana Khitrova from Dnipro, Ukraine. I'm head of development at the NeoMatrix. I'm working mainly with C++, C#, and Python programming languages. I had extensive experience with cryptography, applications, hooks, and reverse engineering. Currently, I'm deeply involved in machine learning and artificial intelligence. I'm working with a very smart team of software developers. Together with my team, we are creating amazing stuff. I've been working for NeoMatrix at around a year and a half. I was the first worker on this project, but then our company had grown to 25 people, and these people are living around the world. It's an international team. We have people from London, from Turkey, from USA, from India and many other countries. So we are so quickly had grown from 1 person to 25 person. I'm personally managing 8 people in machine learning and artificial intelligence. I'm helping my team to grow. I'm mentoring them in some technical difficulties which they have, and also I'm managing them the personal growth. Like I'm keep talking about no sorry policy and doing mistakes policy. I'm encouraging my team to make mistakes, and I'm sharing my personal mistakes with them, so they won't be afraid to make mistakes and tell me about these mistakes. NeoMatrix is working on the novel technologies connected with no GPS tracking which is based solely on environmental sensor measurements like pressure sensor, gyroscope, magnetometer, and temperature sensor. NeoMatrix has 2 main goals. First goal is to resolve traffic congestion and so resolve world pollution problem. Currently, world suffer from pollution problem. Big cities stay in traffic. Their level of air pollution is very high, and it has very big impact on people's health. I'm very much worried about, because I have 2 sons. I would like to have a better world for them, to have more clear air without all this car pollution. And I believe that NeoMatrix will really resolve traffic problem. When we will be able to resolve traffic problem, this way we will resolve also air pollution problem, because the less is traffic, the less is air pollution. A traffic problem also influences on climate change, and it's a really big problem currently in our world. And we all need to think about this and to do our best for this. And I think NeoMatrix can really give us a hope to improve the situation with climate change and global warming. Also, NeoMatrix goal is to support diversity. NeoMatrix supports diversity in nationalities, cultures, and gender. We are helping to empower women. We are helping women to grow in tech, in software engineering. We are trying to find more women in software engineering to help them learn and grow and be more empowered. In general, in software engineering world, the women are underrepresented. I remember when I first come to my first job as software engineer, I was the first woman in my company, and I was really like something very unusual. But currently at NeoMatrix we have more than 50% of women working on our smart technology. I think it's a really big step up in women empowerment software engineering. NeoMatrix has very unusual and interesting company policies. One of them is no sorry policy. You can't say sorry for nothing. You can say sorry for some small things, for some mistakes. You are encouraged to make mistakes. It's one of our company policies is to make mistakes. It's our work to actually make mistakes, because when we are making mistakes, we are achieving something new. Our mistakes help us to find new ways to learn new things. People shouldn't be afraid to make mistakes, because when you are afraid to make mistake, you are limited. You can't be creative, you can't be innovative when you are limited by your fear of making mistake. So this company policy really help us to allow people to bring new creative ideas to our project, because they are not afraid to make mistakes. They are not afraid to bring something completely new, something unusual, something which isn't done this way in any other company. You can't say sorry for nothing. You can't say sorry for your working mistakes, or for that you can't do a meeting right now, or something which people usually say sorry too often. At the beginning, this policy feels like, what are you talking about? It's unusual. It's really. But then you understand that it's really powerful policy, because it gives you freedom to be creative, to just bring your ideas without the fear that you spend too much time on this or something like this. You are just live in freedom, and you are work in freedom and happiness. This feels really great. We are supporting people in their mistakes. When people make mistakes, and when they are not afraid to make these mistakes, then they can be creative, because they are not limited by their fear of making mistakes. When you're making mistake, you're learning, you're make a step up in your knowledge. So it's good to make mistakes, and it's encouraged in our team. You can tell your boss, and even more, we are supporting, sharing our mistakes with our colleagues and our boss. And our boss is often praising us for our mistakes even. NeoMatrix, it's part of your job to make a mistake. If you're not making mistakes, that means that something's going wrong, or you're lying about your work, that you are not make mistake at all, or that means you are not put enough effort. So it's really your job to make mistakes and learn from them. I'm encouraging my team to make mistakes, and I'm sharing my personal mistakes with them, so they won't be afraid to make mistakes and tell me about these mistakes. At the beginning, it was very uncomfortable to share my mistakes, because I thought it was bringing me down, it's something bad, something you shouldn't do. But now I learned this great attitude to mistakes, that mistakes is your learning way, and now I'm completely comfortable with this. This approach is very different from other companies I was working before. Before, it was really fearful to share your big mistakes, because your boss won't be happy about this. So it's very unusual to work with this another approach to the mistakes. For example, recently I had one mistake which cost me like a week of work, because I was creating clustering library from scratch, just using the wrong approach. And at the end of a week, it appeared that there is just a very simple library for this. which I can use and spend about 3 hours to this. So I spent a week when I could spend only 3 hours. So it was a big mistake, but together with this, it was a learning, because in the process of developing my approach, I learned very much things which actually will be useful for us in the future. So it was good.
Has anything sprung to your mind that you want to tell us about NeoMatrix and about working at NeoMatrix?
I don't know. I ran out of ideas to talk about.
You needed to do more mistakes, Tatyana. You have to do more mistakes.
Firstly, you need to see the actual video, and then we will speak about my mistakes. NeoMatrix investing very much efforts and money in tough learning and empowerment. NeoMatrix supports the idea that worker can not have some skill, but everything can be learned. And the main thing is to have a passion to their work, to have a desire to create something great, novel, and impressive. Every skill can be learned with the time. And NeoMatrix supports learning, supports people which wants to learn but just don't have some skills. I personally participate in Toaster's public speaking program, which helps me to grow in my management skills, in my public speaking skills, in my English skills. NeoMatrix is supporting me in this, actually paid for me for this program. I use respect to other people's ideas. When somebody comes with some idea, with some excitement about some improvement or something, I always support this, even if this wasn't planned, because when people work with excitement, that can give even better results, some plans, strict directions or something like this. Sometimes I got tasks from my boss to spend time on my hobby. I had a hobby of drawing, and sometimes my boss just saying me, it's your work to go and do your hobby, do your crayons drawing. Because it's very important that people have good personal time. It's good to have a possibility to refresh your strengths in your work for some new ideas. You just need to have some time for yourself, some time for your hobbies.
I gave a work task to Tatyana to enjoy her crayons and draw on paid company time. Later, I asked her how she felt about her role in the company, and she replied, freedom. I said, well, that sounds like a great theme for drawing, and she smiled and showed me what she'd just finished. Her drawing was a beautiful ballerina who had just cut her own puppet ties and was now free to dance. It was an amazing moment which brought home the power of really investing in your team.
Start of my work at NeoMatrix, I have not very high level of English speaking and understanding of native speakers too. But at NeoMatrix I had very huge experience of speaking. I have many calls during the week with people all around the world. We have international team, and all of these people speak with some accents, and you need to understand all of them. You need to give directions to all of them, and it's really great experience, which allows me to improve my English very much. And actually it happened. I can speak English much better now than a year ago. With support of NeoMatrix, I started a Toastmasters program, which created for improving public speaking skills. I started this program just recently, so I didn't have much time to really improve in this, but I see this program as very interesting, very creative. I think it will help me very much on my way. NeoMatrix paid for my participants' Toastmasters program. I think Toastmasters program can really improve my public speaking skills and improve my confidence speaking and giving my ideas to other people. Car matching is the most important part of the project and the most challenging one. We have several people working on this conception, and it is really hard and challenging. We are trying to achieve the best results in core matching. Our smartest and best people are working on this. Core matching is supposed to find the collection of ways where a car was going. So it's not supposed to find exactly one way, because it's impossible to find exact way. But it's possible to find the collection of ways, and then we can more precisely find the exact way using other technology of NeoMatrix called Snowflake. We are building a signature tree. We are matching this tree with some set of reference trees. And this way we can get the set of all possible ways which car was going. Then from this set we can determine where exactly car was going using our another technology called Snowflake Explorer. Snowflake Explorer takes some known GPS point. You can imagine, like, from one known point on a map, we are just growing snowflake in all possible directions by shortest pathways. At each step, we are checking possible elevation and bearing, and if it isn't likely by our sensor measurements, then we are just pruning these ways, and this way we are finding our most likely way where a car was going. NeoMatrix doesn't use GPS for its work for many reasons. First of all, GPS is very battery power consuming, when environmental sensor doesn't consume so much battery power. That's why we are not using GPS at all. Also, GPS can be blocked. GPS is not reachable in some locations where pressure sensor or temperature sensor is always reachable, and we always can use this sensor. That's why we are using only environmental sensor, but not GPS. Our team developed algorithms for NeoTag Compression. We were working on it for almost a year. We were working together with Humam and Jonathan and me. And we created 3 algorithms of NeoTag Compression. NeoTag compression allows us to store car movement in a very efficient way. When some well-known formats like GPX allows to store car movement in a very inefficient way because it uses XML, but we are storing kilometers of car movement in a very tiny string, like 20 characters. This way we can very efficiently send user movement through SMS or email or through the network, and we won't consume too much battery power on sending the user movement. It's a really big compression and very amazing technologies. So this technology can be used in some devices which are plugged in car. These devices needs to have a lifetime battery. NeoTag algorithms compression can help us to save battery life for such devices. We are using Uber H3 clustering library for different goals. We are using it for dividing our map to areas of different size and to limit, for example, a search area for core matching. We are also using Uber H3 hexagons in our novel technology of determining the most expensive fuel station and day. We are predicting fuel cost in the limits of 10 days, helping our users to save their money. We are using machine learning technologies to predict fuel cost. Needed H3 clustering to divide road network fuel stations to some clusters to have prediction models, because it's a very big amount of fuel stations, and if we will have a prediction model for each station, it will be a very big amount, so we needed to cluster them. NeoMatrix very much investing in their professional growth, the growth of their technical skills. Sometimes we are hiring people who doesn't know necessary technology, and we are just saying them, learn this and give us your best. And people are excited and really doing great in this new technology. When I started to work at NeoMatrix, I didn't know the most technologies which is used in this project. I didn't know Python, I didn't know machine learning at all, I didn't know anything about geographic system stuff or something else. And it was necessary to learn all of this. NeoMatrix gave me a possibility to learn all of this and to become good in this. Personally, NeoMatrix gave a big growth in my leadership way and also in my software engineering way. Also, I learned many things connected with personal and leadership growth. Now I can feel much more confident in my work and in my communication with the team and my way to manage my team. Yes, I got fantastic support when I was growing as a leader, as manager. I got all help of which I needed for this. Unfortunately, in my work, I not always have to work with the best professionals. Sometimes you just need to save people to live, and this was very difficult for me before. I wasn't able to just say people, I'm firing you. It was just like impossible for me. But now I learned to do such things, to fire people when they just can't be there, when they just can't do their work. And first of all, it's good for them, because when some person works not where it's good for this person, then it won't end good for this person. Yes, when you're giving the fair feedback to a person, this person can improve in the future, and this is only for good for this worker. Also, I needed to give some mentoring to people, how to create better code, how to use better approaches in their work, how to be better in their communication inside the team. Our project needs very smart team. It needs some very creative solutions. So not every regular developer can do this work. Our technologies allows to create dynamic road pricing. And with dynamic road pricing, we can improve traffic congestion situation. We can resolve traffic congestion. And this way we can improve situation with air pollutions. We know that air pollutions have the most impact on climate change problem. So if we will be able to resolve air pollution problem, we will be able to resolve climate change problem. NeoMatrix helps women to grow in their tech skills. We are trying to hire women workers. It's not always easy because women are very much underrepresented in engineering. So sometimes it's hard to find women for the position where there is very much men for this position. But we are trying to hire women and we are trying to help them learn something which they don't know for now. We know that anything that person doesn't know for now, it's just some skills which can be learned. So we are trying to help people to learn something and to grow and then be a great member of our team. One of the goals of NeoMatrix is women empowerment in tech, because currently women are underrepresented in tech and software engineering, and we are trying to fix this. We are trying to help women on their way to grow to good software engineer. We have another developer, Alexandra, also from Ukraine. She's a very, very smart woman. I was helping her on her growth way, connected also with sorry policy. She was saying sorry for very much things. After this, she became also a mentor for two other women in our team, for Poonam from India and for Diana from Ukraine too. And Alexandra became a great mentor for them. She helped them learn new things and improve in their skills. We have a team of very smart, very creative, very unusual people who love their work, who love their solutions, just have a passion for this project, for novel ideas in this project. Working for NeoMatrix is really fun. Sometimes you find out such a great ideas which you just can't sleep because you are thinking how to do this the best way, how great it would be to implement this. Really, sometimes I just want to wake up at night and sit to my laptop and implement this right now. I definitely can say that NeoMatrix is the most inspiring project in my career. Really, it's the most challenging and the same way it's the most interesting project in my career.